Hello, everyone, and welcome to our next exit interview, the second exit interview of Big Brother Canada 9. I am here, and I am going to be speaking with Josh, the second person evicted from the BB Can 9 house. Very excited to talk to Josh. We'll see what kind of insights he can give us about the day 3 scandal and everything else that went down in that house, how he feels about everything. So stay tuned and we'll talk with Josh. Josh, hello. How's it going?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been some exciting last couple days in the house. So we've been getting some good entertainment at the very least. But how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I feel great about the entire experience that I've had, even if it wasn't as long as I had hoped for. I feel like I definitely showed that I wouldn't go out without a fight. I pulled a house flip out of my back pocket and almost pulled another one out.
Yes. You did. There was a lot of flip flopping happening. Both on Wednesday and yesterday. Do you know how close it came to really flipping there?
I do know at a few points throughout the day, it was 100% I was staying. And then the final, for whatever reason, Jed was the final one to decide that I couldn't be there. And through social media, I have already seen that the house is already freaking out that they should have voted Roe out.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't make sense.
Yeah,
I think they see that now.
they may have made a little bit of a mistake there, but
A
I
little
guess
bit.
I guess we'll have to see what happens. You seem to have a rough time in there. There was a lot of like isolation happening. Do you feel like you were treated unfairly by the other house guests?
Um, I think the other house guests saw how strong I was, how capable I was on my own. I think that threatened them a little bit. And when there's someone who's so comfortable with being themselves and not falling into the herd mentality, that's just an obvious person out to kind of go after. And I don't take it personally. I think it's something they'll have to look back on when they watch the season, from what I understand. And I think just maybe think about some of the ways in which they speak about and act towards people.
I like you, Josh. That was a good answer.
Thank you very much.
Something that I think many people are still a little bit confused about because we did not get this on the feeds and it was not really fully in the episodes. What was this day 3 scandal? What was this meltdown that everyone is talking about?
Well, it was it basically, like, we'll just say it boiled down to like me having an emotional moment, because I think we saw on the show that I'm not actually the most emotional person. I'm not a huge emotional player, but because I can pretty logically think my way through things, but I had a very emotional moment, um, for with regards to something that just like I had not prepared for at all, and I did not think would affect me as much as it did. And it had a lot to do with me just liking everybody so much and just like not wanting to see any of these stories be cut short.
Mm-hmm. And so this also sort of coincided with this whole Pretty Boys 2.0 theory, I think, right? And because it seemed like anytime you said
Yes.
something in the house, the other players would be like, but he did this to himself. He did this to day 3. He did this to himself on day
Yeah.
3.
I wasn't allowed to have any opinions about anything because I mentioned something that was bound to happen had it not been stated out loud. Um, and I think everybody in the house just like wanted a martyr as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, who do you think is playing the best game in the house right now?
Who the best game in the house? After myself, because I pulled myself out and pivoted a lot harder than other people are going to have to, but I got voted out, so I can't say me. I would say, I'm not like hugely impressed with any game just yet because no one was really like letting their cards show. Um, but I'm rooting for Latoya and Victoria as my top two.
Yeah. Is there somebody that you're the least impressed with? Who's playing the worst game?
Uh, I was suspicious of Roe day one, and I'm very suspicious of Beth.
Yeah. Okay. So if you had stayed, if they had kept you on Thursday, and then you had gone on to win this HOH, who would you have targeted? Who would you put on the block?
Without now, I know that teams aren't done. I would have put up Austin and Braden just to break up that duo.
There you go. Did you have any sort of like long-term plans? I know the sort of the pitch to stay was that you were talking to these 6 people, and you were kind of promising them safety, and that you could be used as a pawn and stuff like that. How like would you have stuck to that deal? How long do you think you would have stuck to it? Did you have any ideas of like who you were going to really align with and work with moving forward?
I was very honest about wanting to do that 7-person final 7 deal. I tried to show them that as much as possible. With like once I pitched it to them all, I legitimately did not talk to anybody else in that house so they could see that I was not doing anything sketchy. And I wasn't. And then I would have probably pivoted to trying to work with Latoya because I do think she and I do actually think fairly similar. She just takes significantly longer in coming to her conclusions.
Mm-hmm. So in your goodbye messages, Beth told you about a 6-person alliance called the Sunsetters. Did this information surprise you?
The only I mean, you can see who I pulled in to be. So what I had thought was that Tina, Tara, Latoya, and Kiefer were one alliance.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Latoya, Jed, and Ty were another alliance. So I saw that as an opportunity to kind of like bring those 2 potential alliances together. And that's why I was like putting a lot of weight into Latoya. The 2 cogs or the 2 wrenches in that plan were it was Beth they were working with, not Tara, which I don't know how Tara managed not to get in on that and Beth got into it.
Yeah.
That like eludes me because Beth is working with everyone and is like the weirdest liar in this game. And then I also wasn't expecting Kiefer to be so all over the map with everyone. He was aligned with every single person in the house.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. How do you think they're going to do? Now that they've decided to not keep you, what do you think their prospects are in the game?
well, from what I understand, their game is blowing up internally because, from what I've heard, people think Kiefer told me about the Sunsetters, which is not factual. Kiefer told me about him working with Ro and Kyle, and I didn't tell anybody about that because I figured he might be using that as a test to see if I was trustworthy. But I think they're going to blow up from the inside because Beth is all over the map. And I think Latoya and Jed think they're running the game a little bit.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you so much, Josh. This was fun.
Awesome. Glad to have this chat.
Yeah. I hope you're doing well. Hope you.
Doing good.
I'm glad to hear you're already like in on the like. All right, what's happening? Like, I love it.
Yeah, doing good. I had the best time.
Awesome. All right, that was Josh. Thank you guys so much for listening. It's been a fun week, an interesting week, a fun game so far. So very excited for what we have left to come. Of course, I'm going to be live every morning at 11 a.m. Eastern to update you on everything that's going on the Big Brother Canada 9 live feeds. We'll also be live after every episode, recapping what went down, as well as we have the roundtables every Tuesday night where we go over the stock watch. We rate each player individually based on how they're doing in the game, and their price in the stock watch is adjusted accordingly. So keep up with all of that. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taron Armstrong, if you want to hang out with me there. And see you all next time.